So let's have a look at a summary of the reflection based on the type of mirror we've got. So concave mirrors, quick refresher, if I draw a principal axis in the left-hand box here and put a concave mirror on it, and if I then put in a focal point and a center of curvature. Okay, so we're talking about locations, so beyond C, of course. So if I'm looking at beyond C, we've got some kind of thing out here someplace. So if we've got something that's beyond C, the image is going to be smaller, inverted between F and C, and it's going to be inverted, so it's going to be somewhere down here, but it's going to be real. If we go through all the other ones, we see that if you put it at C, you're going to get the same size, but it's inverted and located at C, and it's still real. And if it's between C and F, you get a larger inverted thing beyond C. So we can see those three are all going to be real. As soon as you put your object at F, though, you get no image, because if we remember our rules for drawing ray diagrams, a ray drawn through F reflects parallel to the principal axis, meaning that any ray leaving F is going to reflect off that mirror, head off parallel, and will never meet. And even the ray extensions will never meet, because if the rays are parallel, the ray extensions are parallel, so they'll never meet. So you get no image at F. If, however, you put the object between F and V, it's going to be larger and upright behind the mirror, which is that makeup mirror thing again. Convex mirrors are much simpler. You're simply placing your object in front of the mirror, and your image is going to be smaller, upright between V and F, which happens to be behind the mirror, and it'll be virtual. And in plane mirrors, again, same size, upright like you'd expect, behind the mirror and virtual. So that's your summary of the different reflections. So now that we've got our summary there, we're done chapter 7. We just need a review. So chapter 11, review and preparation for that review. Some of you are going to prefer to just do a series of questions. That's your style. And if you want to do that, you can. So during class time, you're going to look in day 7 of your timeline, and there's a series of questions there near the end of chapter 11. You are free to work on those. Some of you, however, would rather work on graphic organizers and want to do something that involves working with a partner a little bit more. If you're working on those questions and want to work with a partner, that's okay too, but some of you want something that's actually a little more vocal and verbal and working together, and maybe you're a little more artistic. So if that's the kind of person you want to work on, this is how we're going to do it. You're going to create a graphic organizer, specifically a mind map. So if we look at the criteria of soft, furry, claws, mice, and so on, ultimately we get to the idea of a cat. So I'm going to put in the middle, cat. All right, so coming off the cat, I've got to choose some kind of descriptor. I've got cat taken care of. So I see words like soft, furry, claws, and those things are a physical trait. So physical trait about cats, physical characteristics, physical trait, you could have said anything like that. So now we get our words like soft. We get our words like furry. So we got soft, we got furry, oh, we got claws. Can't use mice, can't use insects, so what are those? Those are probably food. So notice that even though it's not on my list, I can use words. So now I can put mice, I can put insects, I could also put cat food. I could put birds. So notice how I get to add things that aren't even on my list but fit nicely with the criteria. Well, we got whiskers, and I didn't get whiskers in here. So we got whiskers, physical trait, ooh, brown, I can use brown. Although we could have other colors, like our last cat was gray, things like that. What else could we have? Well, that scratching post, that looks like a toy. So we can have a scratching post, Oh, that was terrible. That's better. Scratching post. Okay, so we've got scratching post. Okay, and whatever other toys you can possibly think of, you can put them on there. But you also might have something like behaviors. Well, behaviors could fall under hairballs, or hairballs could fall under that. So you will say friendly. So you'll say mean. Depends on the cat you've got. So you're making a mind map. And notice I happen to color code it so that you can see, okay, well, this is the different groupings. But there's lots of ways you can color code. There's no need that you have to color code everything, but there's a variety of options here. So this is the kind of thing you're going to be doing. And you don't need to copy any of this down. For this, you can say, well, what am I going to do for this? For optics. Well, light sources, to get everything down. Whoa, look at all those. So we've got some things that fall under types of light. So radio waves would be a type. Okay, but we've also got phosphorescence, which is how light is made, or fluorescence, phosphorescence, chemiluminescence. There's a whole variety of things here. So what you can do is you could start color coding by underlining, if you wanted to, the different sources of light, types of light. But you've also got things, terminology, like we've got angle of incidence, we've got angle of reflection. Okay, some of you may choose to do diagrams. Whole variety of different ways you can do this. So if you're going to do the mind map for this, what you need to do is this. First, you're going to make a rough copy on normal size paper. If you want to grab scrap paper from the top shelf of that rack by the pencil sharpener, feel free. And don't be afraid to try stuff and abandon things that don't work real well. When you've got a rough copy that you're happy with, I'm going to leave out for you some legal paper, 8.5 by 14. I'm also going to leave out some 11 by 17 paper so you can make a good copy. Now, I'm going to show you on the next slide a picture of one that a few years ago I had groups of students working on this, and we made a big one. Now, the only bad thing about the big ones goes like this. Here's what this large one looks like. They've done a nice job color coding. They've got a whole variety of things in there. You can see that they've sorted by mirrors. They've got converging, diverging. They've got terminology in there. You've got different types of ray diagrams going on over there for plane mirrors and curved mirrors. And they've got non-luminous sources, and they've got a variety of things. This one's not complete. The bad thing about it is you'll notice that there's like 4 names on there. And the problem is that nobody got to keep it, because the problem was everybody either had contributed something and therefore they had issues. So if you want to use one of the big pieces of paper, I'm going to leave a few big pieces of paper, and my suggestion is this: either make your own on a big piece of paper, but I'd recommend the normal 11 by 17 is probably big enough for most of you. But if you are going to work with a partner, I find that it takes longer, and there's usually more disruption because you're arguing amongst yourselves about how to set this thing up. And then the question is, who gets to keep it? And everybody needs their own. So you'll have to figure that out. So good luck and happy reviewing.